Hey guys, I'm glad you stopped by. So today we're gonna do some dessert, and we're gonna do a classic dessert. Now I mentioned yesterday during the Hungarian goulash video that we had 3 desserts that I wanted to try to get through over the next 3 weeks that are very holiday-ish, and I'm not gonna be able to quite squeeze them all in before Christmas, just because Christmas area. December's only 4 days, and we had Halloween before that with fall stuff, and yeah, it gets complicated in the world of this side of it. But anyhow, one of our good friends here in our YouTube neighborhood had asked about rice pudding. Yeah, it's one of their favorites to eat, and I love rice pudding. I'm sure you guys like rice pudding also. I know everybody here likes rice pudding, so why not make some today? And that's what we'll be making. And then I haven't decided which one we're gonna do next, whether it be the date nut log or the bread pudding. But date nut log could even go with a New Year's dish as a dessert also. So that may get kicked to the day after Christmas, which would be a Thursday. If I'm correct, yes. But anyhow, this video, rice pudding. Next one will be rice pudding, and then bread pudding, and then a date nut log. More than likely will be the batting order. But this particular rice pudding is an old-fashioned rice pudding, and it's one I know we've made here probably a couple times before, although it's been a while because we really only make it around the holidays. But that's okay, because we're gonna make it today, and it'll be fantastic. I'm almost positive. But that being said, if you are new to my channel, welcome. If this is your first video, I hope you get something out of this video. Maybe check out some of my other videos. If you're returning or one of our new subscribers, welcome back and thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That's really important. And if you want to get to the recipe, hit about the 3-minute mark, and you should be there. Comments always welcomed. Love comments. I respond to all of them, good, bad, or indifferent. All we ever ask is you be polite. Think before you type. It's okay to disagree, just think before you type. And I think that's it. I will give you all your measurements in cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, but I'll also give them to you in grams and milliliters. That way everybody can play along no matter where you're at. So that being said, why don't we head on down to the counter, and we will get started on this wonderful old-fashioned rice pudding. Hold on for me 1 second. All right, we are down here at the counter, and first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn my pot on. I've got a 2-quart sauce pot right here, so yeah, sauce pot. And you want to make sure, I mean, if you don't have one, again, you have to really pay attention. You want to make sure you have a heavier bottom pot. That way you get even heat distribution. You're less likely to burn that way. Thinner pans, thinner bottom pans have a tendency to get hot spots, and you can burn easy on that. You don't want that, right? Because then you get a burnt flavor through your whole pudding, even if you manage to get that one spot not in with the pudding. That flavor is gonna transfer into the entire pudding. So heavy bottom pot is essential. Pots and pans you should invest in. Even this one, as long as we've had it, it was probably on the cheaper end, and I would love to have a new one, but it has served its purpose well for many years. But anyhow, in our 2-quart sauce pot, the first thing we're gonna do is add 4 cups, 1,000 milliliter, 1 liter of whole milk into our pan. And then to this, we are going to add 1/2 cup, 100 grams of granulated sugar. And that's just regular, plain old, put it in your coffee sugar. 1/2 cup of long grain, just standard white rice, long grain white rice, and that's 100 grams also to 1/2 cup. And then we're going to go ahead and put in a teaspoon, 4 grams of vanilla, just like such. 2 tablespoons of butter, and I've got my butter and my milk as close to room temperature. It's not room temperature, but it's close, and all that does is help speed up the cooking process. A 1/2 teaspoon, 2 grams of kosher salt, Go ahead and get that in there. And my butter is unsalted. Yeah, I don't think I ever say that in any of my videos. But I don't ever use salted butter. I try to cut out as much salt as possible. It's hard to believe I'm falling apart the way I am with the way that I try to control what I eat. But anyhow, and then the last thing is a half a teaspoon. Well, I'm going to guess is about a half a gram of ground cinnamon. I have no way of measuring this. It doesn't reflect on my scale. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up. Oh, I'm going to get something to mix it with first. Hold on for me 1 second. Okay, so stir, stick, beat stuff up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stir this up, and we're going to bring this up to a boil, right? So we'll get it boiling, and then we're going to turn it down to a simmer, and we're going to let this simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes, if I remember correctly. 35 to 40 minutes. Your milk should start to reduce, your rice should soften, and then we're almost done. I mean, it's just this easy. So let's go ahead and get this boiling and then simmering, and when I come back we can do the last couple steps and hopefully eat some before too much longer. Alright, so we have gone our about 35 minutes and our rice is tender. Our milk has condensed a little. You know, we've probably lost about 2 inches in the pan, so I'd say we're close to 3 cups now instead of 4. So what we want to do now is go ahead and take that off the heat for a second. And in this bowl here, I've got 2 large eggs that I've beaten. You know, I just went ahead and beat them. So then we're going to take a 1/4 cup of our rice pudding mix here, and we're going to put it in our eggs, right? We're going to temper them, which means we got to keep them moving as we put this in, because if we don't, we just dump the eggs straight into that hotness, it will scramble them. And we don't want them to scramble, we want them to be incorporated into it. Because what this is going to do is, along with the starch, we're going to do another 1/4 cup also, along with the starch that's in the rice. That's what's going to turn this into pudding, right? That's what's going to make it firm. I was trying to think of the best word to describe pudding other than tender, delicious, and tasty, which it won't be tender so much, but it'll definitely be tasty. So now we're going to take this, now that we've got it tempered, and we're going to go ahead and pour it into our rice pudding mix, just like such. And then we're going to put this back on heat and let it cook for about another 2 minutes until it starts to thicken up a little bit. Okay, so we got it going. If you can hear, it's plopping, right? And that's kind of what we want. That tells me that we are good enough that we can go ahead and just take it off heat completely. And we're thick. Kind of like when you're making pudding or custard or anything like that on the stovetop. You're listening to that plop, plop, and it'll have the bubbles. So we're going to go ahead and take it off the stovetop. Take a bowl, small to medium sized bowl, and we're going to put it in that, just like such. Alright. And then we got one thing left to do. Well, we got a couple things left to do. But the next step, before we have to hurry up, and we're basically hurrying up to wait, which I hate, but it's a fact of life. Let me go grab the satin wrap, or the saran wrap, plastic wrap real quick. Hold on for me. Alright, I'm back. Satin wrap. Good stuff. So, we got our pudding in a medium bowl, and as you were taking that 35 minutes to 40 minutes to condense down your milk and and make your rice tender, you may have noticed you were getting a skim coat on there, which is why you want to stir occasionally. Well, the same thing can happen as this cools if you don't take your plastic wrap, satin wrap, saran wrap, whatever you prefer to call it. I really struggle with that because I don't, other than plastic wrap, I don't know if there's a actual name for it. Satin wrap's a name brand, but you want to get your plastic down on top of it. That way it can cool in the fridge without getting a skim coat on it. We don't want a skim coat. You know, I mean, if you get one, it's okay. You just peel it off once it's cold. But if we can prevent it all the way around, that's awesome. So I'm going to put this in the fridge for at least the next 3 to 4 hours, or at least today I'm going to stick it out on my deck for at least 3 to 4 hours. It's 28 degrees outside, and get it to cool down. And then when I come back, we can take a look at it and try some. Oh, wait. I almost screwed the pooch on that. Woo woo. Chris would have been so mad at me. Let me take that back off of there. Raisins, 1 cup, 80 grams of, half a cup, 80 grams of raisins. I forgot to put those in and fold them in. You can also use cranberries. Yeah, she would have kicked my butt on that. Get those in there real quick and just stir them in. Not a big deal, but you want them in there. Put them in now versus, I mean, later. Now, you don't have to put raisins in there. You don't have to put cranberries in there. I've even heard people say apricots, things of that nature. Any dried fruit, you know, would be good, I guess. Strawberries, dried strawberries, you could probably put in there even. But raisins and cranberries are the kind of the traditional. All right, so anyhow, 3 to 4 hours in the fridge. When I come back, we'll take a look at it and have some. All right, I'll see you here in a second. All right, so we have been about 3.5, 4 hours in the fridge with the plastic on top, and now all we have left to do is, you know, serve. That's it. You know, so let's go ahead and get some done up in a bowl right here, just like such. Take a small scoop out. Don't want to ruin dinner. Yeah, but I got to get some now, or I may not get some. Last time I made this, it didn't last 2 days, and we didn't even have company. So after we go ahead and get the rice pudding in the bowl, I have just a little bit of nutmeg in there, and I'm going to put it on there. Now, you can put it on top of the whole thing. I just don't. Yeah, and that's fine. You can also do a whipped topping is really very popular with rice pudding also, and it's really easy to make. It is just a couple of ingredients whipped on high, and I will put them down in the description, so that way you have it. If you want to make your own whipped topping, or if you have whipped topping you use your own, fantastic. But here is our end result all the same. Sorry, let me get it in focus there for you. And I think that looks just absolutely delightful. Yeah, so now all we have left to do is give it a try, right? So let's let me bring you over here so I can see you more so. Maybe if I can get this bad boy loosened up. Someday I'll have a cameraman. I don't know when. I make no promises, but I will have a cameraman. All right, there we are. Much more better, right? So let's give this a try. You know what my favorite thing about dessert is, for the most part? You don't have to blow on it. You don't have to wait 10 minutes so it will melt your face. At least in this case. You just gotta let it get cold, and then you can eat it right away, right? So let's give her a shot and see how she turned out. Perfect. I mean, really, you couldn't ask for a better dessert. So good. Such a unique texture, because it's got that custard. It's almost more of a custard than a pudding, you know, with the rice. And you got that little hint of vanilla, a little bit of the raisin, a little bit of the nutmeg. Not overly sweet. You guys have got to give this one a try. That's a great recommendation. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. That really is a great dessert. Easy to make. So easy to make. It's something that you could make really quick in the morning, have it ready by morning because it only takes a couple hours in the fridge. Or if it's cold outside, just take it outside like I did. Literally a couple hours. So then a couple hours, you've got a really good dessert that you can set at the table that you can be proud of and everybody's gonna love. Let me know if you give this a try or if there's something you do with your rice pudding that's different. That's just the way we do ours. Like I said, you can put cranberries in it. You can put all kinds of stuff in it. Any dry fruit almost. Or dehydrated fruit. So you could even do a banana rice pudding or an apricot or a cherry or whatever else fruits they make that they dehydrate. Would all go very well in that. Now, next week, I don't know what we're doing for dinner yet. Not sure, but I guarantee it'll probably taste fantastic and not be horribly healthy. We don't do healthy real well around here, right? But for dessert, I'm still tossed up between bread pudding or the date nut log. Which one's gonna come first? I like them both. The date nut log I probably hold a little more special, a little closer to my heart. It brings back good memories for me. But they're both on game. So I guess realistically, I have no idea what we're gonna do next week for dinner or dessert. But that being said, I am going to get that back in the fridge so that way it's there for after dinner tonight. But until next week, I love you. I love you very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else that you love them and that you love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's going to make them smile either way it goes. It's going to make you smile and feel pretty good to tell somebody that. Hands down. And if you make them some of this rice pudding, with whatever your choice fruit is, but the raisins are a good way to start, they're gonna know that you love them, and they are for sure gonna want seconds. Probably a nice cup of milk or a cup of coffee, depending on who you are and where you're at. And it's gonna lead to some conversation. I guarantee it. And there's enough there. You can probably invite the neighbors over for sure. Probably give some to the mailman, invite the guy walking his dog down the street, the whole 9 yards, right? So, till next week for dinner, I love you, and I will see you then. All right? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.